Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 3, Episode 15. We are 2 events removed from Ladies Night, and we are on our way to the next Takeover special, which will be announced, the name that is, coming the next event, because I don't have it in the segment this event, and I'm not going to tell you until the next event. Anyways, this is NXT The Game Season 3, Episode 15. Let's get straight into the action. In the pre-show tonight, we had, I always run through these, we had Alexa Bliss defeating Athena in 8 minutes via pinfall. These are momentum purposes only. We had the Hype Bros defeating the leaders of the New School in 8 minutes when Zack Ryder defeated Marty Scurll by pinfall with a Hype Rider. And lastly, we had Johnny Gargano defeating local jobber Marty Gold, which is going to be an hilarious, maybe he'll get known in NXT, I don't know. But he's had 3 great matches, has this local jobber Marty Gold, and Gargano gets the victory. So let's get straight into the action. That's a minute on the pre-show, which is far too long. Alright, Alamo pulls up and stops. As it does, Manifest Destiny, Kevin Owens, the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte, Big Cass, and Carmella step out. Owens is in a huge match tonight against a Samoan submission machine. Joe. Alright, welcome to NXT, says Renee Young. We have a rematch you've all been waiting for weeks for. We have Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe going one-on-one. Corey Graves says, and that's not all, Renee. After the Vaudevillains upset American Alpha last week, William Regal is taking another look at them, having earned the top spot of the pecking order for the tag teams in NXT. We're going to see the Vaudevillains take on the Revival tonight, as well as the Kingdom taking on BAMF, the Blake and Murphy factor, as we try and shake out the tag team champion a bit. Speaking of tag team action, let's get straight to the action, because coming up next is the opening contest. In a match that had some good action, but not in much way of heat, Blake and Murphy defeat the Kingdom in 10 minutes when Blake defeated Mike Bennett by pinfall with the Factorate. Blake and Murphy get the victory over the Kingdom and have improved their tag team contendership rank. After the match, we see William Regal nodding, writing down some notes about the victors and the NXT tag team divisions. We see Samoa Joe getting ready for his huge match with Kevin Owens tonight, which will be in the main event of NXT. In a match that has been good action but not in much way of heat, the Vaudevillains defeat the Revival in 10 minutes when Simon Gotch defeats Das Waller by pinfall with a surprise cradle. So the Vaudevillains are moving up the chart as well as they defeat the Revival in a tag team match to help determine the seedings here in NXT's tag team division. After the match, we see William Regal nodding, writing down some more notes about the victors and the NXT tag team division. As Regal turns around, the Young Bucks walk in. Matt Jackson, hey Regal, how come we aren't in this tag team seating to see who's going on to NXT Takeover and gets a tag team championship shot? After all, we're the 2 who dropped the gold to Alpha. Nick Jackson, what he said. Regal looks at both of them. Don't you 2 have problems on your own right now? Asked Regal, pushing the idea about the Balor Clubs fighting amongst themselves. So, asked Nick Jackson, I'll tell you what, William Regal says. Next week, you 2 can go one-on-one with the team of, Regal thinks, Apollo Crews and Neville, and if you win, we can go from there. Yeah, whatever, says Matt Jackson. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson leave as William Regal looks annoyed. Alright, now we're getting to this episode pretty quickly. Next week on NXT, we're going to see Sami Zayn, the NXT Heavyweight Champion, take on Mr. WWE, the man who he defeated for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. That's weird. Oh, that sucks. Mr. and Mrs. WWE. Well, that's unfortunate. Next week, in 2 weeks, we're going to see Enzo Amore team with NXT Money in the Bank holder Neville to take on The Miz and Finn Balor. And by The Miz, we mean Tessa Blanchard, who just accidentally debuted here in a segment I didn't mean to debut her in. Whoops. Well, Tessa Blanchard wasn't going to be anything hot to start out the gate, but there's Tessa Blanchard, guys. Oops. I haven't done that in about 30 episodes, but there she is, and I'm not going to go back and re-record. All right, and in the main event, and about that featured great action in average heat, Samoa Joe drew with Kevin Owens in 22:45 following a double countout. Despite being counted out, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens can't get off each other. They continue to fight all the way up the ramp until the referees and road agents have come to separate them. Sheer mayhem. This is far from over. We fade out on both of their faces, fighting to one another, as Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, their feud is not over yet. They will have a blow-off match at the next NXT Takeover special. But the Baddest Men storyline has advanced, and Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, who went 22 minutes, absolutely a long match, and they still got a really good rating. They're going to go one more time at Takeover. Let's see the rating. We don't have enough interesting storylines going on. We lost popularity in 11 reasons. See, now this is unfortunate. I just went from Cult to National like last or 2 shows ago, and my ratings have been dropping. So we're going to have to get back on the right track, and we're going to have to rectify that. But this was NXT The Game, Season 3, Episode 15. See you guys next week. Or not next week, tomorrow. Sorry.